Alright guys, it is Sinky here and welcome to a video where I just want to talk about the downfall of Unity could be and just in general Assassin's Creed games. In my opinion, one of the biggest downfalls of Assassin's Creed is the fact that they have to reintroduce a character for every game. One of the biggest, I guess, things about the previous, like the Ezio trilogy rather, is the reason why it worked so well is because with AC2 they didn't start wasting time getting you into the story. Like you had parkour from the very beginning. You could do combat. The game spawned you into a fight, and the reason why that's the reason why it was so good, because from the very get-go you got into it, and then an hour into the game, you I guess if you want to just plow through the main storyline, you got to the point where you got your hidden blade and you got this, that, and the other. So when Brotherhood came out, the reason why that worked so well, and actually just to say this, the reason why it wasn't as long as excuse me, as 2, is because they already introduced all the characters. We knew who Ezio was, we knew who Rodrigo Borgia was, and the problem with AC3 then was that there was such a complicated storyline to set up with Haytham, Connor, the Native Americans, George Washington, everything with Desmond, that it took so long to build up to the moment that he actually became an assassin. About 10 hours, over half the game. The reason why that's why it took so long, because they had to introduce a character, they had to introduce all the new kind of things that they added in, and that's why the opening thing was so long. A Black Flag, one of the main complaints I heard about that was that it took so long to get into assassinating, I guess, and to actually being into assassin like properly, that because they had to introduce all these new characters, all these new gameplay mechanics, that to set the tone. And the reason my brother worked so well was because it didn't have to do that. It introduced everyone, and we knew who everyone was. We knew, oh yeah, Cesare. We knew Ezio was. Well, no, we didn't know Cesare. Excuse me. We knew Rodrigo Borgia was, and you know, it only took about 10 minutes to introduce Cesare. He shot Barrio. That's enough to get me to go off and kill him. So, that's my kind of that's what I'm kind of worried about for Unity, is that with the past 1 or 2 games, it's been very, very long introducing the game. Just in general setting the tone, introducing us to characters, teaching us about the new mechanics, and mechanics is actually another major thing I want to talk about. Okay, so as I said before, in terms of game mechanics, my problem with previous Assassin's Creed games, well rather 3 and 4, was that they tried to tell you all the things at once, in terms of how to liberate towns, or either they shoved it all in your face in one go, like especially 3, not so much 4. Or it was that they shoved all the mechanics in your face at one time. How to use the rope dart, how to do this, how to do that. It was all within the same hour, and it's like, oh my god, I don't know how to do this. I've forgotten how to do it. But or they didn't explain how. Oh, liberation missions. They didn't expect to do that. Picking locks was like, turn that way, and tap a button. It's like, oh, okay. But what was so great about AC2, how perfectly did it, was that you kind of felt like as Ezio learned how to do things, or how he unlocked new things, you're like, oh right, okay, so I can do that now. But now with games, it's just like you do this, do that, do that. It's just like, okay, well, I don't know how to do that, because I don't, like, you know, AC4, right? It took me ages to figure out how to do the heavy shot, because I was still trying to figure out how to do the fucking mortar. That's kind of, I know it's kind of stupid of me, but seriously, heavy shot was hardly explained. But then, what I mean by for AC2 was that. Actually not, rather between AC1 and AC2 is that nothing game mechanically major changed or was added in. Like, we knew how to do parkour, we knew how to do fighting, you know, press R2 and, you know, spam down the square button, but we already knew how to do that. But with in terms of different things like the hidden gun or double hidden blades, Ezio learned how to do them, and it wasn't like, did you know you can press R2 to do this? It's, you know, that kind of way, like in that little kind of box on that kind of popped up top left hand corner, kind of tells you you can press R2 and B. Well, that's different controllers, R2 and circle to do things, but yeah, so I'm kind of, that's my problem with Unity, is that I hope that they've such a massive storyline to set up in terms of spoiler alert here, Arno's father's death, Elise, French Revolution, different characters, different assassins. I'm kind of hoping it doesn't take too long, because they don't do an AC3 job where it takes like 10 hours to get into the actual game. And I hope it's also the mechanics, because there's a lot of new mechanics in the game. Like the combat is very different. Actually, in terms of combat in AC2 as well, you learned combat moves over time. So, sorry, I have a cold, but I hope in Unity it's like, okay, they teach you how to fight, they teach you how to do this, that, and the other, as if you're learning how to do it. And I hope they don't say, did you know you can do this, that, and the other to win a combat fight, or different things like that. So anyways, tell me what you think down below about this idea of they need to introduce things as the game progresses and not just all in one go. And I hope that hope it works out well. So comment, rate, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.